Steelers fans, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to Steelers Talk. It is your one-stop shop for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and rumors throughout the season. And the best part about it, it's absolutely free. All you have to do is hit that sub button to stay in the know all season long with your Pittsburgh Steelers. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome into Steelers Talk. I am your host, R.C. Maxfield, after preseason week 2. As the Pittsburgh Steelers dominated the Detroit Lions. The Steelers, well, the score doesn't reflect actually what happened up at Heinz Field tonight, as they did win 26-20. But the big storyline after this one is Ben Roethlisberger is back. And yes, you might not see him on the stats right here. He technically wasn't the leading passer. That was Mason Rudolph. But Ben Roethlisberger was back, and the Pittsburgh Steelers' first-team offense looked absolutely electric. Sure, we've come to know Ben Roethlisberger as that dink and dunk intermediate guy, get the ball out as quick as possible. But he had a couple of throws downfield that looked really, really good. But let me know before we get into the analysis of Ben Roethlisberger, your one-word reaction to the Steelers' win versus the Lions. Again, Ben Roethlisberger's back. The Steelers are back at Heinz Field playing, and man, my one word is finally. That's really all it is for me, is finally you see those terrible towels wave, and you get to see Ben Roethlisberger, QB1, back on the field at Heinz Field. It was a sight for sore eyes for a lot of Steelers fans, and now you get to look forward to him playing early and often. And, well, I mentioned it was a sight for sore eyes. He absolutely dominated in Week 2 against the Lions, and did what you're supposed to do against one of the worst football teams in the NFL. He went 8 for 10, had 137 yards passing, and 2 TDs. Listen, it's the Detroit Lions, right? It's the preseason. It means nothing, but you still want your stars to perform, even if it is against, like I said, the worst team arguably in the NFL outside the Houston Texans, who, well, they did beat the Dallas Cowboys tonight. He did have 2 touchdowns, as I mentioned, but the best part about this was Ben Roethlisberger was going downfield, right? Last year, he was dink and dunk. That was why Dionte Johnson dominated last season in the catch department, in the target department. But now it looks like he's willing to go further down the field and use 3 levels of the field instead of really just 2 in terms of that short passing game, intermediate. Now he went long a couple times. Now he did miss on one of those deep passes, but overall, I liked what I saw from Ben Roethlisberger in that first step back onto the field for the 2021 campaign. But hey, go back to school. Grade Big Ben's game versus the Lions today. Is it A, B, C, D, or F? You know what? It's hard for me to give an A out to a quarterback in the preseason. Darn near impossible. So let's go with the B+. I thought Big Ben could have been better on a couple of the throws that he didn't complete, and there was really only 2. But he did look like he was moving a little bit better in the pocket. I wish that he would have been a little bit more mobile. But at this age, and in his point in his career, Ben Roethlisberger is more of that stationary type quarterback. But I am happy to see that he is going downfield just a little bit more than even he did last year at any point. Got to thank today's sponsor of the video, BetUS. It is the best betting site on the internet right now, and trust me, you don't even have to go vet that for yourself. It is absolutely the best one, and you know how I know that? They're giving you a 125% deposit bonus. What does that mean? You deposit $100, they'll give you $125 to use on the site. You could have $225 to use on the site to bet on your Steelers all season long. I'm still using it from last year. All you have to do is go to chatsports.com/bet and use the promo code Steelers125. Again, that site is chatsports.com/bet with the promo code Steelers125. Steeler fans wanted to see Najee Harris, and, well, they got to do that. He wasn't great in the running department, but the best part about Najee Harris, I think, from this past season at Alabama that people really don't talk about that much is he got a lot better in the receiving game, and he proved that tonight against the Lions, having 2 catches for 53 yards. And again, this isn't something that is probably going to be on a weekly basis. I don't think he's going to get 53 yards receiving every week, but it is a factor that defenses have to take into account now that you do have that clear-cut RB1, and this isn't a James Conner situation where you don't know if he's going to be out there next week. Najee Harris is a durable running back, and he does it in all aspects of the game, and he is also an elite, and I mean elite, blocking running back, which will help Big Ben stay upright all season long. The next guy I wanted to talk about was another young guy out of Penn State, Pat. He played lights out tonight. 2 catches, 19 yards, and 2 TDs. The former Penn State Nittany Lion was really Ben Roethlisberger's favorite target, especially in the red zone where his 2 receptions led to touchdowns. And now I don't, again, expect him to be a clear target on this team all season long. Eric Ebron led the way in receiving at the tight end position and for the whole Steelers wide receiver and tight end core as a whole. But you look at it, Pat is probably the 5th or 6th option on this team, on a team that is going to pass quite a bit due to Big Ben. And if last year is any indication, maybe he has a little bit of a breakout and is known as one of those guys that is a red zone threat for Ben Roethlisberger all season long. Speaking of quarterbacks, Mason Rudolph is the next guy I want to talk about, as he led the Steelers in passing again. Didn't have any touchdowns, but looked good with the second unit. He had 13 completions on 18 attempts for 138 yards. Did not have an interception. Did not have a touchdown. I thought there were a couple throws he'd probably like to have back, but overall, I think Mason Rudolph did exactly what he needed to do with that second unit. He excelled. He got them down the field, and it just so happens that, well, he didn't get the touchdown passes. They ran one in. So that's really what happened with Mason Rudolph. Now, talking about the third-string quarterback, that's Dwayne Haskins. And now there has been a lot of talk at maybe Dwayne Haskins is the QB2. I think it's clear cut now that it is Mason Rudolph, especially the way that he's been playing early on in the preseason. And that's not to take anything away from Dwayne Haskins, who's made a couple of good throws. I just think right now for his development and where the Steelers want to go, Mason Rudolph probably puts them in a better position to win long term. But it is a good problem to have if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers that, well, you have 3 really good quarterbacks, and maybe if Dwayne Haskins keeps playing this and there's a QB-needy team, I'm looking at you, the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know how you don't have anybody behind Dak Prescott right now if you just lost to the Houston Texans. Maybe they come calling and maybe you get an asset for Dwayne Haskins or Mason Rudolph, and you feel comfortable with either or as the QB2. But let me know who you got at the QB2. Type R for Rudolph and type H for Haskins. I am going to go with Mason Rudolph, the guy out of Oklahoma State, the former Oklahoma State Cowboy. I just think that he's playing lights out right now and is perfect as a backup to Ben Roethlisberger and what Ben Roethlisberger does well in the Steelers offense. Mentioned it from the jump. If you haven't already, you got to subscribe to Steelers Talk. This is your one-stop shop for everything Pittsburgh Steelers, giving you daily videos. Usually Mott's on here breaking down the Steelers, but hey, I'm okay with filling in right now and helping them out. Be sure to subscribe, stay in the know with the Pittsburgh Steelers all season long. And hey, if you want to hear about Ben Roethlisberger, Najee Harris, maybe you want to even Juju on that beat, just not on the other team's logo, right? This is your one-stop shop to hear everything Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, the Pittsburgh Steelers win 26-20 over the Detroit Lions. That score does not really tell the whole story, as a lot of garbage time for the Detroit Lions, even in the preseason, as the Steelers came out and absolutely dominated the Detroit Lions at Heinz Field. Kalen Ballage led the way with 7 carries and 30 yards rushing. Eric Ebron was the leading receiver. But again, the main storyline for the Pittsburgh Steelers in this one, Ben Roethlisberger gets his first preseason action and looks good, going 8 for 10 with 137 yards passing and 2 TDs. But you got to move on. Preseason, really nothing to talk about here in terms of, on-the-field success. This is about getting ready for the regular season. This is one step closer now, as I want you to predict the future on who you got for preseason week 3 as the Pittsburgh Steelers head south to face the Fighting Christian McCaffreys down in Charlotte against the Carolina Panthers. Type Pitt for Pittsburgh if you got them winning, or type Carr for Carolina if you have the Panthers winning in the season finale for preseason games for your Pittsburgh Steelers.